Hey, I'm Charles with Rocky Mountain ATV-MC. In this video, we're going to show you how to rebuild the top end on your KTM or Husqvarna 450 dirt bike. There's a couple of reasons you might be rebuilding the top end on your dirt bike, whether you're burning oil or maybe you're just at the recommended service interval for replacing your piston. Now, this motor, it came out of a 2020 FC450, and that recommended interval for piston replacement is at 50 hours. So you're going to want to check your model specific service manual for that information. And with this, we pulled the motor out of the bike. We're going to be doing some bottom end work as well. But if you're just doing the top end, you can do this with the motor still in the frame. So with all that being said, the process will be similar for any late model KTM or Husqvarna 450 dirt bike. The parts and consumables for each top end rebuild might look a little bit different, but typical things you might need are a piston kit, gasket set. You'll need some coolant. We have our Tusk 4-stroke oil change kit, some contact cleaner. You may or may not need some shims, and then you want to stay organized throughout the process. So we have Ziploc bags and a Sharpie to label everything. And of course, you want to use safety glasses, rubber gloves, and some rags. All right, now we have our engine out of the frame. We're going to be doing some bottom end work as well. But if you're just doing the top end, like we mentioned before, you can do it with the engine still in the frame. And if you need help getting to your valve cover, then watch our valve adjustment video. For us, we're going to start by removing the valve cover. Now we're ready to set the engine at top dead center on the compression stroke. To rotate our engine over, for us, we're going to have to remove the stator cover, and you want to remove those bolts in a crisscross pattern. And remember that bolt on top, it has that copper washer on it. So keep track of that. And then when you pull it out, keep in mind that it's going to be magnetized, so it might take a little bit of force to pull it out. And one last thing, if your engine is still in the frame, you can actually rotate the engine over by putting your bike in high gear and then rotate that rear wheel. Now, what we're doing, we're trying to get this dot on the outer surface of the cam sprocket right at the top at the highest point, and that's going to line up right in the middle of that cam holding bracket. Now we'll remove the spark plug. With the engine at top dead center, we're going to check our valve clearances and write those measurements down. And again, you're just measuring between the rocker arm pad and that shim. And that's just going to help with reassembly. If we need to change any shims out, then we know what sizes we'll need to go back in. All right, next thing, we're going to remove our camshaft. And to do that, we're actually going to start by removing our cam chain tensioner. So be careful not to lose that spring. And then we're going to completely remove this tensioner. That way we can get it reset for reassembly. Now with the tensioner, you want to make sure that the plunger that my thumb is on, make sure it doesn't press back into this housing with any pressure. And then what this spring does is actually press it out. So when you go back together, you need to have this plunger reset. So what we're going to do, there's this little tab. I'm going to press down on that with my finger, and then I can push the plunger all the way back. It's reset and ready to reinstall. You just want to put a new gasket on for reassembly. Now these two bolts that are holding down our cam retainer, we're going to loosen those up and completely remove them. To remove the camshaft retaining plate on the 500s and older 450s, you'll need to remove the bolt on the back side. Now with that bracket out of the way, we should be able to slide the cam forward. Now keep in mind, you're going to need to remove this cam chain, and for me it's easiest to move it to the inside. And then we'll carefully pull the cam out. And if you're just doing the top end, it's a good idea to just hang this chain with a piece of wire. Now with the roller bearings for our cam, You just want to make sure that the rollers don't have flat spots, and then you want to inspect the cage and make sure there's no cracks in it and make sure this rotates freely. You'll do the same inspection on the smaller bearing in the back. To remove the rockers on the 500s and the older 450s, you'll need to remove the two caps on the side of the head to access the rocker arm shafts. Now the rocker arm shafts are exposed on the newer bikes, but in either case, I've sourced 2 additional M6 by 1.0 thread pitch bolts to thread into the rocker shafts by hand. Now we can remove the 2 rocker shaft mounting bolts for this newer style of head, or the 4 mounting bolts for the other style. Now the shafts and rocker arms are different. So all we're looking for, the exhaust one has this roller. You want to make sure there's no up and down play in that roller and no pitting or grooving on it. So that one's looking pretty good. And then the pads on these rocker arms, they're kind of in an arcing motion. If they're flattened out, they're worn out and need to be replaced. These ones look pretty good. And then as far as the shaft goes, you just want to make sure there's no deep grooves in it. If these parts are wearing together, you're going to find some grooves and you'll want to get them both replaced if that happens to you. Now when you go to reinstall, you want to make sure this open side is facing up. Now for the intake, it's the same inspections, but instead of the roller, you have a bigger pad. And then this intake rocker shaft, this one also has an extra hole right here. So just make sure that you have the correct shaft going in the correct spot. And again, when you reinstall this little cutout is going to be facing up. Now after that, we can go ahead and remove all the shims and lay them out in order. All right, now we're ready to remove the cylinder head. And the first thing we need to do is remove this small bolt. And then these 4 bigger bolts, we're going to loosen these up in a crisscross pattern in a couple steps and then pull them all the way out. Make sure that you keep track of these washers underneath the cylinder head bolts. So I'm going to release that safety wire on the side, and I'm just going to pull up on the cylinder head. This one came off real easy. If it's stuck, you can lightly tap on the side of the cylinder head with a soft face mallet. And a couple things to keep an eye out for. We had 1 dowel pin stick to the cylinder head, and we've got one right here. Then we can pull that head gasket from the cylinder head. Next thing we're going to do is raise the cylinder up. You're not going to have to completely remove the cylinder from the piston. You can just pull it high enough to remove one of those circlips, or if you are replacing the piston, you can go ahead and just pull the cylinder completely off. So we're going to show you that way. Now, whichever way you decide to do this, make sure you place some rags around that connecting rod before you remove that circlip. Now we can remove the circlip. These can be kind of tricky on these KTM and Huskies just because they're pretty stiff. I like to start them with a pick, and then you can use some small needle nose pliers to pull them out the rest of the way. Once you've done that, you can push out that wrist pin. If it doesn't come easy, you can use a piston pin puller. The next thing we're going to do is remove the base gasket. Now, it's common for these base gaskets to leave a little bit of material behind. You want to scrape that off with your gasket scraper and just make sure you don't damage the sealing surface. You also want to make sure both of these dowels stayed in place. If they didn't, make sure you locate them. Then I'm going to take these rags out. And we need to inspect this connecting rod, so obviously it needs to rotate freely. You want to make sure that you have 0 up and down play. So I'm just going to pull straight up and down. I don't feel any play at all. We can also check the side clearance on the big end of the connecting rod with a feeler gauge. That's going to be a good indicator of wear. Now the standard measurement in the manual is 0.2 to 0.45 millimeters. And if you're over that, you're going to need to get in there and make repairs. So I just went straight to the 0.45, and you're going to make sure that it doesn't fit in between this web or the connecting rod, which ours doesn't, so we know we're good. The next thing we want to inspect is the small end of the connecting rod, and a good way to do that is just look at your wrist pin or piston pin. You want to check it for any grooving or obvious signs of damage. This one feels really smooth if I run my fingernail across it. This engine, it's got about 13 hours on it, just to give you an idea. And then we can actually put that in there and try to pull this up and down and see if there's any play in there. And so this is just easy ways to check this at home without having a micrometer or a little snap gauge that's going to fit in there. So if that looks okay, then we can go ahead and get those other parts ready for reassembly. Now we can clean up all of our parts using contact cleaner, a gasket scraper, and some rags. Now the things that are less common are you could have chipping, pitting, or flaking on this Nicosil coating. So if you see any of that or a little ridge up where the highest point where the piston ring rides, then you know you need to make repairs. Now with this, most of the time these cylinders can be reused, and you know they do get a little bit of oil baked on there over time. So if you want to deglaze this, you can actually use a hone to do that. We do have a video that helps guide you through that process. And for us, this cylinder, it only has 13 hours on it, so we're going to reuse it, but I always like to clean these out in warm soapy water and some nylon brushes. Now one last thing, you want to make sure you can still see some cross hatching in there. If you don't, it might be a good idea for you to take this to your local machine shop and have them measure the cylinder to make sure that it's not worn down too far. Typically, you're not going to reuse these pistons, but since we have a brand new motor, we are going to. Now, you're just going to look for any deep grooves or signs of damage on the piston skirts, and same thing on the wrist pin bosses. If you see any galling or signs of metal transfer from one part to another, then you want to get this thing replaced. Now one more thing, if you remove the carbon from the top, make sure you didn't get any down in these rings that could cause these to get stuck. And that's it for the first half of our top end rebuild. If you noticed that you need any parts when you're doing your inspection, you can find those on our website. We carry OEM and aftermarket parts. And make sure you follow us over to the next video. We're going to show you how to get everything reassembled. I'm Charles. Thanks for watching.